get the shit you need and get the fuck out. Ladies, I got your back. Hey guys, I just wanted to say real quick before this gets started is I really appreciate you guys checking out my channel. Please hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up this video at the end if you liked it. But I just wanted to quickly say this video took me a while to make, which is why I posted it a few days saying I was going to make it, and it took me a few days and I haven't uploaded anything else because I really went out and I researched and I thought and I planned and I tested and I tried all these different things and tried to come up with a really good video for you guys, so I really hope you enjoy it. And if you want me to do a part 2, let me know because I have so many more ideas. Thanks for watching. What is going on, everybody? It is Melty Gore, and this is how to be the best apocalypse survivor. Now, this will mainly focus on zombie apocalypse situations, or if there was like a massive nuclear fallout and everyone's dead and there's no electricity and whatever, cliche stuff. Kind of similar to the game Fallout, but radiation could ruin some of the ideas I'm about to tell you, so that's on you if you die from rad. Now, some of the things I'm about to tell you are pretty common. Some I think are very unique that I kind of came up with on my own, and they're kind of just tips on what you can do if you ran out of things. So some of them might be to do with electricity and stuff like that. So if you happen to run out of something in particular, these tips might help you make it naturally or a substitute or whatever. What the hell are you doing, you damn bug? Why are you in my house? I don't know where he went. I need chopsticks. Damn it, Daniel, son! So let's talk about some general things you're going to want to do right away. Now, these are going to seem very obvious, but there are a lot of idiots out there, and this kind of just gives you a good starting place and how to kind of go about everything you're going to want to do right in the beginning. So as soon as it's apparent that there's an apocalypse, figure out where you're going to stay and who's going to be with you if there is anybody. Don't spend too much time worrying about the people running around saving people you don't know. If you do have some people you're sticking with, stick with them. Don't split up, especially if it's a zombie apocalypse. God damn people. And if there's no way of communicating, don't split up. Basically everything you watch on The Walking Dead, don't do, and you'll be fine. But if you are alone, that might not be such a bad thing. Social lives is the last thing you really want to think about in a situation like this. The social life is not the first priority. What is, though, is your personal stuff. You want to make sure you have all your personal supplies ready to go. Personal stuff definitely comes first, and what I mean about personal stuff is like housing, goods, and tools, supplies, stuff you need. Worry about sex and friends later on. But what you want to do when you're about to get your personal shit, get in your fucking car and drive. Don't worry about the stuff at your house. Don't worry about any of your personal property. Just go. Get in your vehicle. Steal a vehicle. I don't care. Get in a vehicle and go to Walmart or some big ass store. I don't fucking know. You're going to go to Walmart and you are going to stockpile your car from bottom to top with every fucking thing you can find. Looting is key in the beginning. It's time to do that before everybody else has done it. Now, there's going to be a lot of other people doing this, so it's going to be like Black Friday out there, most likely. But do what I'm about to tell you. Do it right away. It doesn't matter if you're on an empty tank or you've got valuables in your house, because that shit doesn't matter. Get in your car and drive there. I want you to fill your car up from bottom to top with shit you probably won't even need. Even if you can't find the stuff you do need, get what you don't need, because everything you can find is worth it at some point. You're going to want to take everything. I'm talking blankets, tents, lighters, lanterns, matches, candy bars, cake, donuts, Twinkies, Hostess cakes. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Make sure you grab any citrus fruit and potatoes. They'll come in handy later on. Think outside of the box too. While everybody is running to the grocery store and Walmart, I want you to go to Home Depot. Okay, you're going to grab yourself some screwdrivers, some tools, some nails. Make sure you grab some galvanized nails. You're going to want those for later as well. Grab some wiring if you can find it, some alligator hooks if possible. Axes, grab an axe or 5. Grab a hammer, a saw, everything. Hell, get a wheelbarrow. I don't fucking care. Basic wood planks would be a good thing to grab too, especially if it is the beginning of a zombie apocalypse for like your windows and shit. Kinda obvious, but if possible, also go to like Macy's or some shit like that and get the warmest, heaviest clothes possible. Winter will be the worst part with no heat, I promise you. It's a lot easier to strip down and cool off than it is to find stuff to warm up with. Also, some more good things, good food items to grab that would be good is like peanut butter. Very heavy, full of protein, and is a filling thing. You can get a lot in kind of a small container. It lasts a while. It doesn't really expire. Good stuff. Bread you're going to want to avoid. That will go moldy quick. Unless you want to grab a whole bunch of that perishable stuff and make sure you eat that the first few weeks, you'd be good. But you really want to stick with using your space wisely for non-perishable and spreading that out. Hostess snacks wouldn't be bad either because they're cakey, really filling, high in sugar, lots of stuff that'll keep you feeling full. Not the priority, but if you can find a box of snowballs, hell, go for it. But don't forget your peanut butter, because that shit tastes like Jesus. I like peanut butter. Now go to the electronics section. This is one of the ones I kind of came up on my own. I didn't really see it online or anything when I was doing some research, but auxiliary cables. Those cables that like you can plug your phone into your car's auxiliary port with, 3.5mm cords, those long ones. Those are a very, very good alternative to rope. They're very strong cables, especially if you get the higher brand ones, which if everything's free, it shouldn't be a problem for you. Grab a bunch of those, or earbuds, like Beats. Beats have really strong cables, or any kind of headset with cabling, because you can cut that off the headphone part and have some really strong cable, especially if you use some of those together. That could be really useful later on keeping a prisoner. Don't do that. Actually do it. You might need to. Grab a shit ton of that stuff then. Grab some of these earpods. The Apple earpods are really good. They come in this really nice case, and they wind right on. So what I would do is I would grab 3 or 4 of these, more if you can, grab them all if you want. Take them apart like this, and when you do this with any kind of wiring, you can make stuff really tight and very durable. Very durable, and this is a really good compact way of having some really quick access cabling or rope, I guess, if you needed some. It works really well, especially when it's together like this, when the integrity of all the wires working together. Very strong. Plus, another great use for these is if you need some electrical wiring, which we'll talk about later, is you can cut off the ear pods, and then actually you want to cut down probably about to here where this part is, and then you've got this nice piece of electrical wiring. Strip off the plastic, cut this off, and you've got a nice couple strings of electric wire that you could just use this to wrap it around. And when you wrap all your wire around it, you've got a nice case for a bunch of electric wiring for gadgets or whatever. But so those are a really good thing to grab. A really good electronic good you're going to want to grab that I feel like a lot of people might overthink in the beginning, and they won't last forever obviously, but those external USB batteries, you can usually find quite a big supply of them at like Walmart and stuff, and they're usually pretty small, and they've got like they come with a cord. You can plug your phone into them. Don't do that. Don't waste your time trying to charge your phone. That's stupid. It wouldn't be a bad idea to grab a couple, 3 at least, 2 or 3 of them. And maybe one day you'll find somebody who's a little more electronic savvy, or maybe you are and you could do something with them. I recommend getting a Stormtrooper mug. Next thing, and I really can't stress this one enough, is first aid, first aid, first aid, first aid, first. I don't care if those Band-Aids have Dora the Explorer on them. Grab them. You won't be sorry. Grab a lot of rubbing alcohol and cotton balls, and I mean a lot. Grab them all. Also, while you're at it, grab some napkins and paper towels, and we'll get to those later because they will come in handy. Another thing that not a lot of people think about grabbing that I kind of came up with on my own, I think, is grab vitamins. Vitamins would be a very good thing to grab. You really want to grab like a multivitamin maybe. If you know your vitamins, you could go for some specific ones, like vitamin K, which will help with your blood clotting, which could be really useful if you ever get injured. Another good type of pill you're going to want to grab is weight gainer. This is the last place on earth you're going to want to try to lose weight. Even if you're a fat cow, you want to put off losing weight for as long as possible. I would be screwed. I am skinny twig. You people getting picked on now for your weight, they'll be dying first in the apocalypse, so remember that. So just some other general things you're going to want to grab. You're going to want to grab some aluminum foil. That could be used for a lot of things later we'll talk about. Coffee filters, if you can find them. Those are really good for a lot of things. Electrical tape, very important, especially if you're working with all that wiring. Grab some of that if you can. Pretty much all that stuff should be pretty easy to find. Electrical tape might be a little harder, but you can usually find it in any electronics section or auto store, auto parts, stuff like that. You can usually find it. If you are dealing with a lot of danger, it might not be a bad thing to get some weapons and guns. You're going to want them. I would actually focus on getting those first because there are a lot more Walmarts than there are Ranger Rick gun shops. Go to the gun shops first, get what you can, get the ammo you can, get all of that stuff first, and then scope out the Walmarts. Guns will be very important. I don't have to tell you that blunt weapons are good too, baseball bats, stuff like that, but you know, you could always be creative and use the hammer and the nails you got from Home Depot and make a spiked bat. That would be sweet. Props to you for doing it. Next are some things to avoid in the apocalypse. Now, don't take the apocalypse news lately and just think, oh, it's a free shopping spree. Get the shit you need and get the fuck out. Ladies, I don't want you clearing out the shoe department. And guys, I don't want you clearing out GameStop. It's the apocalypse. And if there are zombies around you, yeah, what are you doing? If there aren't zombies around you, what are you doing? Take the stuff you need, follow some of my tips, and you'll be fine. Just don't get a bunch of stuff because you can. It'll be pointless in the end. So next I will talk about some of the things you can find and make in the wilderness. These will help you with some of the basic survival needs, as well as using very little materials and supplies so you don't have to waste too much. This is also assuming that you've run out of stuff you got at the store, or assuming you're out in the wilderness, like actual wilderness, not in your house. Or you're just living off the land. So this will help with that, and just kind of keep that as a disclaimer that, yeah, you may be in your house, but I'm trying to do this in a way where you could walk outside and make it in the woods. With little supplies, of course. First thing, moss. Everybody knows what moss is. It's that fuzzy green stuff that always has dirt attached to it. Worms always live in it. It's gross. It's wet. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But one of the greatest things, and probably the easiest things, especially if you're in a bind, because the last thing you want to do is waste your clothing, is use it as a bandage. Grab some moss, kind of brush off all the dirt and the bad stuff, kind of get that grass by itself, make sure there's nothing weird on it. Don't waste your water to wash it off, but just take a nice clump of that, use it as a bandage. Don't rip your shirt up. Use that, hold it there if you need to, if you've got nothing to hold it down, but if you listened to earlier, you could use some ear pods or some of the wire rope we were talking about. And just kind of wrap it around and keep it there. It'll stop some bleeding. It'll save you your shirt. Don't rip your shirt up. The last thing you want to do is ruin your clothes. Moss can be a great way of disposing it quickly, grabbing it quickly. It can be found pretty much anywhere. Only use your shirt or a cloth for serious wounds. These are really good for like if you majorly cut your arm or something, or get shot or something. If you get bit by a zombie, just kill the person. Like, seriously, just kill them. Don't waste your clothes on someone who's going to eat you. The next thing I want to talk about is garlic. Garlic has some really good internal and external uses, and I'm going to talk about both. External uses of garlic can be really beneficial. It's really good on skin irritations, fungal infections, acne, earaches, bites, and stains. Internal, just by generally eating it can reduce your cholesterol. It can ward off colds and flus, lowers blood sugar and diabetes. Diabetes. Protects your liver from toxins and chemicals, and it can kill intestinal parasites. There are a couple more natural things you can use for internal and external uses, and the next is mint. So mint's really good as an external because it has some really unique uses. It can soothe bites and stains, acts as an anesthetic, and a muscle relaxer. You can add it to water, like if you're taking a bath, add it to the water, and it can soothe your muscles and give you that nice smell to kind of clear your nasal passages. It's a really good decongestant when it's added to water and you're smelling that and breathing it in. Mint's really good internally at relieving nausea and cramping, so ladies, I got your back. Sage is another really good one as well. External and internal, of course. Internal can improve your aging and memory. And when I say that, I don't mean it makes you older faster. I just mean the way it helps your memory stay with you longer, and it helps you age better. I don't know how to explain this to you without sounding like a freaking idiot. External, even though it goes in your mouth, it can help with gum disease, canker sores, and it can soothe your sore throat. So I guess it's a little internal there, because you've got it in your mouth. That's what she said. What's up? Ladies, I got your back. Cranberries can help cure urinary tract infections. Fiddlehead ferns, which is more of a food, but I still put it under this category because it's got a lot of beneficial properties. It's kind of like a long stem fern that kind of curls into a spiral at the end, and they actually taste pretty good. Some of them can cause cancer, and some of them can be dangerous, but it's kind of harder to find those, and when they grow, they get this brown crusty outside. If you find any with that, you want to avoid them, but if they're purely green and you don't see, and there's barely any of that brown crust stuff, just make sure you peel it off, you throw them in your frying pan, maybe add some salt, butter, garlic, that we talked about earlier, that garlic would add those other properties to it, plus make it taste a little better. They're actually really good. I've had them personally before doing this video, and they weren't bad. Fuck. They're really high in antioxidants, omega-3 and omega-6. They're also high in iron and fiber. But it's very easy to cook them over a fire, and they do taste pretty good. The next thing I'm going to talk about, which you've probably all heard, is aloe vera. Aloe vera is probably one of the best things you'll find out there. It has a huge list of uses. You can drink the aloe vera juice, which will help to promote a healthy digestive system, so if you need to clean out your colon, you know how to do it. It's mostly known to treat burns, though, which is probably one of the better things. Another thing it can be used for is for like an anti-irritant or a moisturizer for your face. Next couple items in the last of the category is some tree bark that you can actually use for a lot of different things. Red oak tree bark can be boiled down to a brown liquid that releases acid that can help with rashes, ingrown toenail, and other skin conditions. Elm tree bark can be used similarly, but as a tea to soothe coughs and colds. Black willow tree bark can also be used as a pain reliever, made the same way as a tea. Next section's pretty simple and important, but I'm going to go through it kind of quickly because it's a lot of obvious stuff. But it's fire and warmth. Lighting fires with tinder is pretty simple. And all you really need is some paper or dandelion heads, and stuff like that to help get the fire started. Use tree bark, dry grass, leaves, etc., stuff like that. Pine needles work too. If you're in a wet area or near a pond and you can find a cattail, you can open up the brown puff thing, and the fluff inside them works really well too as tinder. Kindling the fire. You can use dry twigs, sticks, more paper, and then eventually work up to some logs and bigger stuff like that. But since this is the real apocalypse and it isn't Survivor, you'd be better off going to find some cardboard or some newspapers or something like that. This is also assuming that you have matches and a lighter to make it easy. Rocks can be really useful for holding heat, but make sure you don't use wet rocks. If you use wet rocks, the water inside them when warm can expand, which could possibly make the rocks explode, and you don't want that. Fuel. This is a big one. You know, because obviously fuel's important. Anyway, if you have any type of gas, alcohol, or lighter fluid, or anything like that, you're in good shape. I kind of came up with an idea that I thought would probably be the best. Get an eyedropper or a spoon or something, just something to hold a tiny amount of it. Put some cardboard down, put a few drops of alcohol on it or something, and to light that little bit of gas or alcohol or whatever you use. Get the fire going on the cardboard and then start adding to that. That would probably be one of the easiest ways to do it. If you have an eyedropper, then just drip, 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 and if you need to fuel the fire later, just keep adding a little bit of drops, because it really doesn't take a lot, especially when you're making a fire out of those materials. Be careful with gas though, because that can explode and can be really dangerous even with a small amount, so you want to be careful. But if you have like some vodka or something like that, that would probably be fine. If it's winter and you're really running out of things and you're outside, a good thing to use is cotton balls and petroleum jelly if you have them, with some cardboard if you've got it, and light that, and that should hold a flame probably long enough to get some cooking time. In terms of warmth, you might be a little screwed. Another thing you can do to stay warm is, if you are fully clothed and all your skin is covered, bury yourself in snow. Keep your head out of the snow, obviously. Snow will act as an insulator, especially if it is below melting point of snow. You will be fine. With enough snow, you'll feel warm because you'll be insulated from the snow, and it won't be in direct contact with your skin. And if you wake up, hopefully it won't melt overnight. It shouldn't. If it does, then you'll wake up really wet and very cold, and you could possibly die. But if it's that cold for that much snow to be around, it probably won't all melt overnight, so you'll be fine. The next section is the cool section, tools. I love tools. I love me making stuff. Boom, bah. Don't put that in the video, Ben. Just don't put that in there. What the fuck's wrong with you? Cups. Cups are probably the easiest thing to make, especially if you have aluminum foil. Take a piece of aluminum foil, kind of roll it at an angle, and you've got a cup. Fold the bottom down, you've got one of those old triangles, old school cups. Super easy to make. You can use that for multiple things. Obviously, it's a fucking cup. Figure it out. I'm just kidding, that was mean. Aluminum foil is the way to go for a cup. Unless you took my advice and got a Stormtrooper mug. Take my advice. Small oven. Now, this might be hard for you to believe, but yes, you can make a very, very, very tiny small oven very easily using a can of soda and some rubbing alcohol. Take the can of soda. Let all the stuff come out. You know what I'm talking about. Drain, drain, drain. Cut the can in half. Take the top half. Stick it inside the second half, so now it's like one short cup, but it's still got the hole up top and a place in the bottom. Poke some holes in the top if you can. Some of that alcohol in there. Light the alcohol. And keep adding that alcohol in there to keep it going. All of the fire and heat will come up through those holes. Should be able to warm up some stuff. It could even be used to turn into a fire. If you want to use that as kind of like your starter, is put some alcohol in the container, light it, and then stick something on it and build a bigger fire. Very quickly you pour some alcohol, light it, bam, you're ready to go. You don't have to worry about making a thing out of rocks and placing stuff down. It's a very portable, tiny, little small soda can oven. You could even use it to probably warm your hands too. But yeah, not a bad thing to do if you really have not a lot of stuff. Signaling devices. If you and a buddy, or you need to keep track of something or whatever, take one sheet of aluminum foil and fold it, and just keep folding it into a square or a triangle or whatever. You can use it to reflect light off of it towards your friend and signal them, or if it's nighttime, you could take a flashlight and shine it on the aluminum foil like this and kind of just angle it around or whatever. Another good thing, obviously, is a mirror. A mirror, you could reflect the sun, or you could reflect your own flashlight towards them or whatever. Or if you have a fucking flashlight, just use your flashlight. Just click, click, real quick. Click, click, real quick. Wow, I'm such a loser. If you didn't take my advice earlier about the headphones, turning them into rope, and you need rope, well, you're an idiot for not listening to me. I'm just kidding. You're fine. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've only killed 5,000 zombies, no big deal. In real life, of course. Rope from tree bark, very easy. Get some dead tree bark, or just rip some off the tree. Screw the tree, who cares? But dead bark's better, because it's kind of dry and ready to go. But peel it into strips, and the strips can be kind of braided together. Make some rope that way. Experiment. All bark's different. It's kind of hard to tell you one right way to make rope out of bark, because there's a lot of different kinds of bark. Batteries. Small yield batteries are very easy to make, especially if you got some citrus fruit or potatoes. Now, I'm sure you've all heard the potato battery experiment, but potatoes are big and they don't yield as much, and none of these really will. But alternatives to potatoes are the lemons, and it's very easy to make it out of both. One lemon's about 1 volt. Lemons are lighter and smaller, might be easier to use them. 0.9 volts or so. And you could daisy chain a bunch of them, so you could have like 5 lemons all together. You'll get like 4 to 5 volts there. But it's very easy. Basically, take an imaginary lemon like I have here. It smells right. Good lemon. I'm using imaginary fruit. So you take a lemon, you take that galvanized nail we talked about earlier, you stab it in one side, you take a penny or a copper nail or just a piece of copper, whatever. I recommend a penny, they're easier to find, whatever. Stick in the other end. You got your lemon ready to go. You're going to take alligator clamps and wire, or if you just had wire from before, you could use electricity tape, what the fuck's that? Electrical tape. Add wires to each, attach it to the whatever you're attaching it to. The copper side is positive, the galvanized nail or the gray side is negative. If it's an average size lemon, I have a pretty good lemon here. It smells ripe, good size, fits in my hand. Probably about a volt here. Oh, I'm such an idiot. However, it's not a very portable solution, so don't think about running around with a flashlight with a couple lemons connected, because you're going to end up running around with a fruit basket with a light on it, and you don't want that. This is a very simple way of making a quick and easy water filter. This is not a biosand filter or anything complicated. Very simple, very quick. Especially if you listened to me earlier and you got some paper towels, napkins, cotton balls, coffee filters, any of that crap. Very simple. It shouldn't be too hard to find, but what you're going to want is like a 2-liter soda bottle. Peel the label off just to make it a little easier to see. You're going to cut it a little higher than half. Cut it about 3/5 of the way up. That way you're just above half, but still giving the top part a little good amount of room. Get that top half with like the hole. You're going to flip it over and stick it in the bottom half. So you've kind of got like a funnel. You're going to want to layer the top with a whole bunch of stuff. What I tried and what really worked out very well for me was I took the top half, put it in there. I layered 2 or 3, maybe even more coffee filters, and I kind of stuffed them in there enough. So they weren't all the way through the hole of the top, but they were in there, so when I poured water through, it came through and it was good. Then put some cotton balls. You're going to want cotton balls in there. You might even want to put the coffee filters, some cotton balls, some napkins, some paper towels, and then some more cotton balls on top of that. And you're going to want to kind of stuff it in there a little bit so there's some structural integrity in there, but you don't want it to come through the bottle hole that the liquid's going to come through. You're going to grab your water. I just went outside, got some dirt, threw it into a glass of water, mixed up. It was gross brown water. I poured it in the top, and I made sure that it all went into the center of my filter, so that way it didn't get underneath the filters and go down into there. It comes through to the bottom half, that collects the cleaner water. And it actually worked very well. I was kind of surprised. The cotton balls really seemed to grab a hold of the big clumps of dirt, and it kind of just filtered through the paper towels, the napkins, through more cotton balls, and then through the filters, and it came out pretty damn clear. After I did it the first time, I took out all the nasty stuff, threw it out, and then I layered new coffee filters, new cotton balls, napkins, etc. And then I ran it again, and then about 1 more time, and it made it very clear. So like 3 or 4 times, maybe even 5 to be safe. You get it very clear, but then don't drink it. You're still going to want to boil, you're going to want to boil all water. But this is a very good solution at clearing brown water to clear, and then boiling that water, and it worked really well. Next couple things is just some basic hygiene stuff. Not important, but it's nice to stay clean when you can't. This is also assuming that you literally ran out of all your cleaning stuff and you're starting from scratch. So just kind of keep that as a disclaimer. So these are the ways I found that are probably the best if you really have very limited supplies and you've run out of all normal consumer products. First thing is just normal cleaning soap. No, I'm not talking about the Fight Club soap that can explode shit. Not that. Now, getting very basic cleaning soap is very simple. If you're cooking some sort of meat on your frying pan over a fire, a normal wood fire, it's very easy to get some lye, and lye is the important part to soap. What you want to do is, while your frying pan's still hot and it's got that animal grease in there from the meat or whatever, throw in some white coals, some white charcoal from your fire that are still hot, and that's going to mix with that animal fat, and it's going to get it nice and hot, and it's kind of honestly going to turn into a soap by itself right there in the pan. And you could add some water in there if you want to kind of give it some liquid texture, like form. And this will be really good for cleaning the pan itself and some of your tools. It's not going to be the most effective, but it'll definitely be better than just wiping your knife off on your shirt. The lye and the ashes combined with the meat fat, it'll combine and make kind of this soap. So it'll work pretty well if you do how I just told you. Another thing you might want to make is some toothpaste. Very easy to make with some baking soda and salt and water. You can make some toothpaste. Add as much water as you want to kind of get that consistency you're looking for. The more water you add, kind of the looser it'll get. So you could possibly make some mouthwash. And if you happen to have some mint or some peppermint extract or something, you could add a little flavor to it as well. Also, if you're using sage on a regular basis, that'll go really well going hand in hand on preventing gum disease. Shampoo is very easy to make and is next on the list. Damn, this fly. I hate bugs. All you need is same stuff as toothpaste, just some baking soda and water, and you can really clean out your hair with, get that bacteria and dirt out of there, possibly kill some little tiny bugs that might be in there. Let's hope there isn't. If you really need to add a little more texture or something more to work with, something heavier, you could add some oatmeal or some flour or cornstarch or something. Give it some heavier use and something to work with. Might be better for you guys with long hair or you girls that have a lot of hair. I don't recommend using up your edible stuff if you don't have a lot of food. Keep that in mind and just hope that you're not going to waste anything that you really need. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video on how to be the best apocalypse survivor. I am Melty Gore and I'm going to leave you guys to it. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button because it's a zombie. Pretend you're giving it a nice headshot by clicking that thumbs up. Please. It's a zombie. It's going to eat you if you don't. And if you don't subscribe, I'm going to eat you. I'm kidding. No. Am I? Fuck. I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want me to do a part deuce of this, because there's so many other things I could talk about, but I didn't want this to be crazy long, even though it kind of already is pretty long. But, I'm gonna go now.